Okay, this is in relation to management accounting that we did last Thursday. The Thursday was the 3rd of April, and Thursday night, and we did standard costing as applicable to factory overhead and only factory overhead. So I got only 5 minutes, so I got to go through 3 questions, and I must thank Thurima Furudus, one of our students, to have done all the work. All these are her work and very well done, beautifully done, I would say. And I could explain that to people, some of you who might need some explanation, because sometimes unless you do the question, you will not have the reasons for where these numbers came from. Now, in example on page 558 on the yellow book, this is 16.6 on the blue book, the new one, blue or the Nation Bank, and 16.7 in the new book, self-test problem. These numbers 17.6 are for the old of Nation Bank. Now go back here. Remember, in every question you have to calculate the budget, and the budget will be given different ways. So from the budget you could find out the various quantities that you require. You need to find out what is the fixed overhead. You need to find out what is the variable overhead, and also you could somehow find out what are the standard costs for factory overhead, total factory overhead as applicable to each unit. In the book, yellow book, it's already given. It's given at $10.50 per unit, and that comes in this area here when you do the variance analysis. Now in the blue book example that's given there, you got to work this out. Is it $9 unit per unit? How do you work that out? It is given there are 117,000 total overhead is 117,000. That's because in this one here, it's only, these numbers are for a month, February, but then for the whole year it's given as 117,000. It's also given the budgeted labor hours is 39,000 hours, and the next line it says it takes 3 direct labor hours to make 1 unit. So what that means is there are 13,000 units. So 117,000 factory overhead, both fixed and overhead. This is monthly. Remember, this for the whole year I'm talking about is 117,000 and 13,000 units. What that means is $9 per unit. The self-test problem on 16.7, it's given on line number 3. The standard factory overhead cost is as follows: 5 direct labor hours at $10 per hour is $50 per unit. So these numbers have to be somehow worked out or inferred. Now why you need that is this last category, which is the overhead applied is always based on a unit basis. So we have so that's done. Then you need to, that's the actual, which you can get from the, and then there are 2 flexible budgets. How do you get the flexible budget? This is flexible budget in actual hours. This is flexible budget based on the standard hours for the units produced. So let's start from the first question. The actual units produced for 2,600. There are 2,600 units produced, and each unit will take each unit will take 5 hours. So there will be 13,000 hours. Like 5 times 2,600 is 30. So you got to get a flexible budget for 13,000 hours. In the second question, which is the example, now let me flick that over. There are actual units produced 1,000 units. Each unit takes 3 hours to manufacture, so it's 3,000 hours. So you got to manufacture, you got to create a flexible budget for 3,000 hours. That means for 1,000 units at standard hours. So there are so you could get a flexible budget for 3,000 hours. Here, this is the flexible budget for actual hours. Self-test problem 16.7 says actual units produced were 9,800 and The labor hours is 5 hours per unit, so 9,800 units, that's one here. But this is 5 hours per unit, you multiply that, you get 49,000 standard hours. So you're going to get a flexible budget for 49,000. Remember, when you calculate the flexible budget, the fixed overhead does not change. The variable only overhead changes depending on the hours that you are using. This is the actual hours, 49,000. And when you do that, you get the flexible budget actual hours, flexible budget on standard hours for the unit. This is actual overhead recovered on a unit basis, standard unit cost basis. So that's how you do that, and you get the variances. So so long as you understand and remember this layout, you should be alright. So go through these questions, and if you have got any difficulties, just give me a call, and I'll try to help you out. That's about it. Thank you.